Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin number 1. We're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in U.S. history, something that might be hiding in your change jar right now, the 2004 Wisconsin State Quarter. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that was minted for just 25 cents could potentially be worth tens of thousands of dollars today. And it all comes down to a tiny detail, one that most people completely overlook. Let's start with a little backstory. In 1999, the United States Mint began releasing special commemorative quarters representing each of the 50 states. It was a bold move to engage the public and teach people about the rich heritage and culture across the country. These state quarters were rolled out over the course of 10 years, and for many Americans, they became a fun collectible, something to keep in a folder, trade with friends, or pass down to kids. Fast forward to 2004, the spotlight turns to Wisconsin. Known as America's Dairyland, Wisconsin is famous for its rolling farmland, cheddar cheese, and proud agricultural roots. So naturally, when the U.S. Mint designed Wisconsin's commemorative quarter, they paid homage to the state's farming legacy. The quarter features a large, detailed cow on the left, a wheel of cheese in the middle, and an ear of corn to the right. Underneath the artwork, the words "Forward" appear, a reference to the state's motto and its progressive spirit. It's a beautiful and straightforward design that seems simple at first glance, but what if I told you there's a version of this coin that contains a tiny error so rare, it could change your life? That's where things get exciting. Not long after the Wisconsin quarter was released, sharp-eyed collectors noticed something strange. Some of the coins had a small, unexpected detail on the ear of corn. On certain coins, an extra leaf seemed to appear, curving out to the left or right of the main corn husk. This was not part of the original design. These unusual coins quickly gained attention, and were soon dubbed the extra leaf varieties. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. There are actually two different versions of this error, one called the extra leaf low and the other the extra leaf high. Both are rare. Both are valuable. And both came from a limited number of quarters minted in Denver, Colorado, those marked with the D mint mark. The most widely accepted theory is that the extra leaf was the result of a die gouge, essentially, accidental damage to the metal die used to strike the coin. A tiny slip. A small scratch. A barely noticeable alteration, and boom, you've got a coin that's now worth thousands of dollars to the right buyer. But let's pause for a moment and reflect on what that really means. A regular Wisconsin state quarter? Worth 25 cents. A quarter with a barely visible extra leaf? Suddenly, it's worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So how do you know if you have one of these rare coins? First, check the date. It must say 2004. Next, flip the coin to see the reverse side, the one with the cow and corn. Look closely at the ear of corn, especially near the bottom. If you notice an extra leaf sticking out either downward or upward, you might be looking at something incredibly special. And finally, check for the D mint mark on the front side of the coin. That tells you it came from the Denver Mint, which is where these rare variants were found. Collectors and dealers across the country have been hunting for these coins for years. And yes, some people have struck gold. There are verified stories of individuals who found these coins in pocket change, coin rolls, or old collections and sold them for thousands. Auction houses, coin expos, and online marketplaces like eBay have featured these rare Wisconsin quarters, with bidding wars breaking out between passionate collectors. But here's the moment you've all been waiting for. Just how much is one of these rare coins worth? Well, if you happen to have a 2004 Wisconsin state quarter with the extra leaf error, and it's in excellent, uncirculated condition, your little 25-cent piece could be worth a staggering $58,000. That's right. $58,000. So the next time you empty your pockets or go through an old coin jar, don't just toss the quarters aside. Take a moment. Look closely. You might be holding a rare gem of American coinage history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most exciting coin discoveries of the 21st century, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content just like this. We've got more hidden treasures, rare finds, and unbelievable stories coming your way. Coin No. 2. We're talking about a coin that looks totally normal until you know the secret behind it. We're uncovering the fascinating story of the 2002 Ohio State Quarter. It's one of the most patriotic, symbolic, and surprisingly valuable coins ever released in the U.S. State Quarters program. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a quarter the same way again. Let's start with some context. Back in 1999, the U.S. Mint launched a bold new series, the 50 State Quarters program. Every year, 5 new quarters would be released, each representing one of the United States in the order they joined the Union. This wasn't just a fun way to collect coins, it was a historic, nationwide celebration of American heritage, culture, and pride. In 2002, the spotlight turned to the state of Ohio, the birthplace of aviation pioneers and one of the most influential states in American history. So what did the U.S. Mint choose to feature on Ohio's state quarter? Let's break it down. The reverse of the Ohio quarter is a true tribute to American innovation. At the center is a proud outline of the state itself. But floating beside it is the image of an early astronaut in a spacesuit, alongside the legendary Wright brothers' 1905 biplane. Below the design, the coin reads, "Birthplace of Aviation Pioneers." This statement isn't just poetic, it's deeply rooted in fact. Ohio is the home state of both Orville and Wilbur Wright, the two brothers who revolutionized human flight. It's also where American astronaut Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, was born. So when you see that quarter, you're not just holding money, you're holding a tribute to human achievement. But as beautiful as this design is, that's not what's causing collectors and experts to go wild over this coin. The real excitement lies in something unexpected, a rare variation that turns this otherwise common quarter into a collectible masterpiece worth tens of thousands of dollars. So what makes some of these Ohio quarters different? It's all about minting errors, tiny mistakes that occurred during the production process at the U.S. Mint. Most coins are struck perfectly, but every now and then, something goes wrong. A misaligned die, a doubled image, a weak strike, a missing mint mark. Or sometimes, something that seems so subtle, it's easy to miss unless you know what you're looking for. With the 2002 Ohio quarter, there are a few known errors that have caught the attention of serious collectors. These include doubled dies, where parts of the design, like the date, lettering, or images, appear slightly shifted or repeated. These errors happen when the coin is struck more than once by the die, creating a kind of ghostly echo effect. Another highly sought-after version involves a misplaced or rotated die, which causes the images or text to appear at the wrong angle. These are especially rare and can be worth thousands, depending on condition and demand. Even more valuable are quarters with clipped planchets. That's when a portion of the coin is literally missing because the blank metal piece was cut incorrectly before being stamped. These incomplete coins are surprisingly collectible, especially if all the other details remain clear. But here's the big thing to keep in mind: these rare variants are not obvious to the untrained eye. Most people who see them think it's just a regular coin. They spend it, forget it, or throw it into a drawer, never realizing what they had done. That's why it's so important to check your coins carefully, especially quarters from 2002 with the state of Ohio on the back. Look for strange markings, off-centered images, or doubling in the lettering. Inspect both the front and back with a magnifying glass. And if you spot anything unusual, don't ignore it. You might be holding something incredibly rare. And here's another tip: pay attention to the mint mark on the front of the coin. Most valuable Ohio errors come from the Denver Mint, marked with a tiny D just next to Washington's ponytail. That little letter could mean the difference between a regular quarter and a coin that collectors will pay thousands to own. Now, you might be wondering, how valuable could a simple Ohio quarter really be? Well, here's the part you've been waiting for. There are verified reports of rare 2002 Ohio quarters with unique minting errors, in pristine, uncirculated condition, that have sold at auctions for a jaw-dropping $63,000. Yes, you heard that right. $63,000 for a 25-cent coin. That's the kind of life-changing discovery that makes coin hunting so thrilling. So the next time you get change at the grocery store, or dig through an old jar of coins in your house, keep an eye out for the 2002 Ohio State Quarter. Because buried in that pile of loose change could be a piece of history, and possibly a fortune in disguise. Coin No. 3. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 2006 Nebraska State Quarter, a coin that's not only beautiful to look at, but one that hides a secret. A rare version of this coin has stunned collectors, drawn attention at auctions, and captured the imagination of people across the country. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how this little quarter could be worth far more than you ever expected. Let's start with where it all began. In the early 2000s, the U.S. Mint launched one of the most ambitious coin programs in American history, the 50 State Quarters program. From 1999 to 2008, each state was honored with its own special quarter design. These coins weren't just currency, they were miniature works of art, designed to celebrate the identity, culture, and legacy of each state. In 2006, it was Nebraska's turn. So, what does the Nebraska quarter look like? Take a close look at the reverse side, and you'll see something truly iconic. A covered wagon crosses the wide, open plains with a massive rock formation rising in the background. That formation is Chimney Rock, one of the most recognizable landmarks on the Oregon Trail. For pioneers heading west in the 1800s, it was a symbol of progress, hope, and the promise of a new beginning. It stood tall against the prairie sky, marking the journey of thousands of settlers who braved the unknown. This design captures that pioneering spirit beautifully. The covered wagon, the oxen, the rugged landscape, it's a tribute to Nebraska's place in American history as a gateway to the West. And beneath it all is the proud inscription, Nebraska 1867, the year the state joined the Union. But while most Nebraska quarters are common and worth only face value, there's a rare version that has sparked the attention of serious collectors. A version with a difference so subtle, you might not notice it at first glance. And that tiny difference makes all the difference. You see, every now and then, during the minting process, something goes wrong. A die is slightly misaligned. A design gets duplicated. A piece of equipment is damaged or worn down. And when that happens, the result is a mint error, a coin that looks different from the rest. With the Nebraska quarter, one of the most talked about errors involves a doubled die, particularly on parts of the design or lettering. That means some elements, like the oxen's legs, the wagon wheel, or even the words Chimney Rock, might appear to be doubled, creating a shadowy, ghost-like effect. These doubling errors occur when the die shifts slightly during production, leaving a faint second image. There are also reported cases of off-center strikes, where the image is misaligned and part of the coin's design is shifted toward one side. Some collectors have even come across clipped planchets, where a small curved section of the coin is missing, as if it were bitten off during production. These kinds of errors are rare, and they're like catnip for collectors. The rarer the error, and the better the coin's condition, the more valuable it becomes. Especially if the coin is in uncirculated or mint state condition, meaning it has no wear, no scratches, and looks almost exactly as it did the moment it was struck. Now imagine finding one of these rare Nebraska error quarters in your change. You might not think much of it at first. But that tiny difference? That little doubling of a letter or image? That could be the key to unlocking a small fortune, and that brings us to the question everyone wants answered: how much is it worth? Well, while most Nebraska state quarters are worth 25 cents, certain rare variants, those with verified minting errors and in exceptional condition, have sold for staggering amounts. In fact, there's one known error version of the Nebraska quarter that has reached the astonishing value of $50,000. That's right. $50,000 for a single state quarter. So, the next time you get change at the store, or empty out your coin jar at home, take a moment. Flip through those quarters. Look for that covered wagon. Look for Chimney Rock. And most importantly, look for anything that seems just a little off. A little unusual. Because you might be staring at one of the rarest coins in circulation today. Coin number 4. We're exploring a coin that many people have never really paid attention to, but one that holds history, identity, and for a lucky few, potential treasure. This isn't just a regular quarter. It's something special. We're talking about the 2009 Guam U.S. Territory Quarter, a coin that not only celebrates one of America's most fascinating territories, but one that could be worth far, far more than 25 cents. In fact, one rare version of this coin is sold for a jaw-dropping amount, and if you stick around, we'll tell you exactly what to look for, and how much it could be worth. Let's rewind just a bit. By now, most of us have heard of the 50 state quarters program. But what came after that? Well, in 2009, once all 50 states had been honored with their own unique coin, the U.S. Mint decided to take it one step further. They launched the District of Columbia and U.S. Territories Quarters program. This short but powerful series featured 6 special quarters representing places often forgotten in everyday conversations, but absolutely vital parts of America's story, and one of those places was Guam. The Guam quarter was officially released in 2009, and its design is rich with culture, history, and meaning. When you flip the coin to its reverse side, you're greeted with a design that's completely unique to Guam. It features an outline of the island itself, floating proudly in the center. Just above it is a traditional flying prow, a type of ocean-going canoe used by the ancient Chamorro people, who are indigenous to the island. These boats weren't just used for fishing, they were masterfully built and capable of navigating vast stretches of ocean with incredible precision. Beside the prow is a latte stone, one of the most recognizable symbols of Guam. These stones, which look like huge stone pillars with capstones on top, were used as the foundations of traditional chamorro houses. Today, they symbolize strength, resilience, and heritage. Together, these images create a powerful statement: this isn't just a coin. It's a tribute to an entire culture. But here's where things get even more interesting: not every Guam quarter is created equal. While millions were minted for circulation, a very small number contain rare minting errors that send their value skyrocketing in the collector world. These aren't your typical pocket change coins. These are treasures in disguise. So, what kind of errors are we talking about? Well, some of the most sought-after Guam quarters feature what's known as double die errors. That means certain details, like the lettering, island outline, or even parts of the prow, appear slightly duplicated, almost like a shadow behind the original design. These errors happen when the die shifts between strikes, causing the image to be imprinted twice. There have also been reports of off-center strikes, where the design is pushed toward one edge of the coin, leaving part of it missing or unbalanced. Some even show clipped planchets, where a small chunk of the coin's edge appears to have been sliced off during the minting process. Each of these flaws tells a story, and each one turns a regular coin into a rare find. But it's not just the error that makes the value skyrocket. Condition matters a lot. A Guam quarter that has been circulating in pockets and wallets for years probably has scratches, wear, and surface damage. But if you find one of these rare error coins in uncirculated or mint condition, your chances of hitting a jackpot go up dramatically. Coins that have never been used, never been dropped, and never left their protective casing are far more valuable than the ones tossed in a drawer. You might be wondering, how can you tell if your Guam quarter is one of the rare ones? First, check the mint mark on the front of the coin. Quarters minted in Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, were made in higher numbers, but some of the known error coins have come from these mints. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the fine details. Look for unusual lines, doubling, or alignment issues. Anything that looks different from a standard Guam quarter is worth a closer look, and once you've found something suspicious, don't guess, get it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. If it's confirmed to be one of the known rare varieties, you might be holding something far more valuable than you think. Now, let's get to the part you've been waiting for. One extremely rare version of the 2009 Guam quarter, featuring a verified mint error and graded in pristine uncirculated condition, was recently sold at auction for an astonishing $43,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $43,000 for a single quarter. So before you spend that next coin, take a closer look. That little piece of metal could be a gateway to history, heritage, and an unexpected windfall. If you love this story and want more jaw-dropping coin facts, hidden treasures, and collecting tips, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. We've got more amazing discoveries just around the corner. Coin number 5. If you've ever glanced at a quarter and thought, it's just 25 cents, today's video will make you think again. Because buried in the pockets of America, inside piggy banks, old jars, and forgotten drawers, could be one of the rarest quarters minted in recent years. Today, we're diving into the story of the Hot Springs 2010 quarter, a coin that might seem simple at first glance but carries more history, meaning, and hidden value than you might imagine. And for those lucky enough to spot the right version, it could be worth a small fortune. Let's start with a little background. In 2010, the United States Mint introduced a brand new series called America the Beautiful Quarters. These coins were inspired by the iconic 50-state quarters program, but this time, the focus shifted from states to something even more profound: national parks and historic sites across America. Each coin in the series would feature a unique landmark, celebrating the natural beauty and cultural history of the nation, and the very first coin to launch this prestigious series? The Hot Springs National Park Quarter, released in 2010. Now, Hot Springs might not be as famous as the Grand Canyon or Yellowstone, but it holds a unique place in American history. Located in Arkansas, Hot Springs National Park is the oldest federally protected area in the United States, even predating Yellowstone by decades. Known for its naturally heated mineral springs, the area was considered sacred by Native American tribes and later became a popular destination for health seekers, presidents, and tourists from around the world. When you look at the Hot Springs quarter, the design immediately catches your attention. On the reverse side, it features the Hot Springs National Park headquarters building, with the elegant fountain in front representing the healing mineral waters that flow beneath the park. The intricate architecture and historical details in the engraving make it one of the more refined and artistically detailed coins in this series, but here's where things get really exciting. While millions of Hot Springs quarters were minted and entered circulation across the country, a very small number came out different. These weren't fakes, and they weren't damaged after they left the mint. They were struck with rare minting errors, unintentional flaws that turned these ordinary coins into highly collectible rarities. Some collectors have identified double die errors, where parts of the coin, such as the lettering or architectural features, appear doubled or slightly offset. This happens when the die shifts between strikes, leaving a faint second impression that overlays the first. Others have discovered off-center strikes, where the image is slightly rotated or misaligned from the center of the coin. There are also examples of die cracks, where small raised lines appear on the coin due to fractures in the die used to strike it. And, in even rarer cases, coins have surfaced with missing elements or incomplete edges caused by clipped planchets or weak strikes. Now, to the untrained eye, these errors may seem like minor quirks. But in the world of numismatics, coin collecting, they are like winning lottery tickets. The reason? These errors are extremely rare, and rarity drives demand. But here's the catch: these valuable coins often go unnoticed. They slip through fingers at gas stations. They sit forgotten in jars. They're used in vending machines or tossed into change trays without a second thought. All because the average person doesn't realize that a tiny detail, an imperfection, or an unusual line can be worth thousands. So, what should you be looking for? First, check the date. It must be 2010 and feature Hot Springs National Park on the reverse. Then inspect it closely. Use a magnifying glass if you have one. Look at the letters, especially Hot Springs and Arkansas. Is anything doubled? Misaligned? Are there any strange lines, missing pieces, or off-center images? If so, you may be holding something extraordinary. Also, don't forget to check the mint mark, located on the front of the coin near George Washington's ponytail. Most of the valuable error coins from this year were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P, and the Denver Mint, marked with a D. But some collectors believe that a few unmarked errors may have come from special sets or early strike batches. Condition also plays a massive role in value. A Hot Springs quarter with an error that's been in circulation for years may only fetch a few $100s. But a coin with a rare error in mint state condition, stored properly since day one, with no scratches or wear. That's where things get serious, and that brings us to the big reveal. Point 1: incredibly rare version of the 2010 Hot Springs quarter, with a verified double die error, struck cleanly and preserved in pristine condition, was sold to a private collector for a stunning $35,000. That's right, $35,000 for a quarter. So next time you're handed change at a drive-thru, or digging through that jar of coins in your kitchen drawer, don't overlook the quarters. That little piece of American art might just change your life. If you found this video fascinating and want to explore more stories like this of coins worth thousands hiding in plain sight, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, happy collecting, and remember, every coin has a story. Sometimes, that story is worth a whole lot more than you think.